My bad.
Open up your brown book, baby.
It is like I'm done
It's
with
for you, it's for us, the fantasies. No one can judge us, no one can judge us. This is for us. Open up your brown book, baby. It's for you, it's for us. Open up your brown book, baby. Open up your brown book. Open up your brown book, baby.
Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl Shay Baby from the Brown Book Series, and we are back. Listen, y'all know we messed up a little bit, right? But it wasn't even we, it was me because Ian was like, I got it. And I was like, no, I'm a big girl, I'm gonna do it, and just whatever. Y'all know how we get down. Anywho, I missed y'all. I'm so happy you guys are here, and we are here with. Oh my God, this young man, he's so wonderful and he's so cute, and it just make it all even better because he's cute and he's wonderful. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome for the very first time here at the Brown Book Series, award-winning director, screenwriter, and now author of his debut novel, Best Man. Give it up for Mr. Sidney. Wait, Sidney, say your last name. I don't want to butcher it.
It's Karger with a hard G.
Karger with a hard G.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Sidney, thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Thanks for having me. This is so fun. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so happy you were here. So like we was on hiatus because I be needing like a spring break. They was like, Shay, you can't have spring breaks. It's your show. I'm like, it's a spring break. And so now, we're back. This is our first show back from our hiatus, and it's such a pleasure and such an honor to have someone like you to just open it up for us.
Thanks. I've been very excited to be here and join you. So this is super cool.
Yeah, and it's Pride season. Happy Pride! Yeah. We absolutely love it. So Sidney, with your fine ass, tell us a little bit about you. What is it like in the day in the life of Sidney Karger? Outside of now you being an author, we'll get into all of that, but what is it like being you?
It's amazing. Let me tell you. No, I wake up in the morning and I usually kind of just immediately have breakfast and go to work, which is writing. And that's sort of like what I do all the time. And I take breaks by taking a long walk with my dog. And then I like a good meal. So I'm very like, let's have a good lunch and then we'll have a good snack. And in between that, I'm writing. And then I kind of, I'm writing full time. So I make sure I stop at like a 5 or 6 o'clock, have dinner with my partner and dog, and then try to, just sort of relax. And that's like, it's super boring, but that's what I do.
But why do all the authors, all like entertainment people, period, say the same thing? They're like, I'll just be relaxing. It's so boring. When people ask me, Sidney, I'd be like, shit, it's lit over here.
What are you doing?
Right. I've been doing everything.
That's amazing. I need to be like that.
Well, you know what? We're going to get you there because we're friends now. And so, listen.
Yeah, I need some tips on how to have fun and like not be writing all the time.
Yeah, and speaking of writing all the time, honey, are you still writing like right now? Because a little birdie told me by the name of like every media outlet out here, there's a strike going on.
There's a strike, the Writers Guild strike, which is for screenwriters. But as a author, it's not covered for authors, so that's great. So I can focus on books. But you can actually, if you are a screenwriter, you can write. You just can't, put your stuff out into your scripts out into the world. You can't sell a script. You can't option a script. You can't talk about scripts with producers and things like that. But you can certainly write on your own and think and have a boring life of writing.
But Sidney, so now you have your life. You can still write scripts, but you can't put anything out. So like, when is that going to end? And can you go somewhere else to do that though? Like, what if you just went to Canada or Australia and had some awesome stuff going on over there? Can you go somewhere else and do it, or are you like United We Stand kind of?
It's a United We Stand. I mean, no, please do not do that. Like, I feel like, the Writers Guild is the Writers Guild of America. And I think like the UK writers have all kind of banded together and said, we're in solidarity. And, they're kind of expecting it to last. I keep hearing like October, November, which is terrible. It's really bad. But you can't really go off and, I think you can spend that time writing, which is great, but you just can't like have the meetings and do the work. And now there's all these, you can actually shoot stuff, you can have production going on, which is fine. But then if the Writers Guild finds out about it, not necessarily myself, but like the Writers Guild will go there and pick it and, try to gently shut down the production and get sort of the people on the crew on our side, because we're really kind of sending a message to the studios and the streamers and the networks and stuff. So it's a really tricky, tough thing for everyone all around.
That sucks though, because some people, well, good thing for you, you write books now and you're great at it. So that's going to be, like a income for you. But for the ones who writing, that's just what they do. I mean,
yeah.
Can you get unemployment for that?
What is that?
Can you get unemployment if you like?
Yeah, I think you can. And then the Writers Guild, I think there's some sort of fund happening where the top writers of the world have sort of contributed a fund, I think you can access to. But it's tough because, it's really the TV writers are the ones who are really getting screwed, because they're making less and less, and the streamers are making more than they ever have. And it's just this broken system, but it's hard. I feel, it's a very hard thing. There's part of my career is suffering because of it. I had to put all these projects on hold, and we were doing all these meetings literally like the Friday before the strike, trying to get everything in. And then it's sort of like, stop, you can't do it. And it sucks.
It does.
But it's necessary. And I think hopefully, we'll come to an agreement with the studios, and it's the most reasonable thing that we're asking, which is, for just a 1%, 2% of the pie that they're making, and not have computer robots write scripts and things like that. So it's.
Oh my God, I heard about that. I was like, listen, I get it. You got the whole, now, the whole computer stuff. Great. But something about a good script, it's the emotions, it's the feeling from a person. You can't get that from a computer.
Exactly. I have not sort of tried this sort of chat GPT entering in thing. So I don't know what it would do, but I refuse to even I don't even want to know, but I'm not going to give you the same thing.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm just like, no. Another author friend of mine was talking about it the other day, and I was just kind of, no, I'm good. No, yeah. I don't even want to know how to download, where it's at. I don't want to know nothing. Let me just continue being creative.
Yeah.
Doing my own thing.
Well, the creator of Black Mirror, have you seen that show? It's sort of like a modern sci-fi Twilight Zone type of thing.
Oh, I like the Twilight Zone. No, it's called Black Mirror.
Black Mirror, it's great. It came from the UK, and I think they're on like a season whatever now, and it's coming out. But he apparently fed ChatGPT instructions on how to write a Black Mirror script, and he's like, it was terrible. And it just doesn't really, like you said, it doesn't have the emotions, and it doesn't have the experiences we have, and hopefully it won't. That's the scary thing. We don't know what it's capable of later.
Right, exactly. And that's what I was thinking. I was just like, yeah, that's not going to work. One of my friends, she used it for school, got an F.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she got an F. And I was like, well, how did you get an F? And she was like, because it pulls everything. It pulls the truth, the hearsay, the not truth. It pulls everything. And so when she submitted it, it was like, yeah, I'm sorry. That's not who invented it.
It's like plagiarism, and it's just a patchwork of everybody else's thoughts and ideas and writing, and that's one of the thing with the, not to harp on the Writers Guild thing, but the part of one of the asks is studios cannot have a script, screenplay, pilot, whatever, have that be written by, it has to be written by a human being. And that to me and everyone else feels like a very reasonable, ask. And the studios are like, well, let's wait and see. So who knows?
Who knows? Well, for your sake, well, like I said, you're good because you're going to be, but I hope that it doesn't last long. I hope you get exactly what you're asking for and more.
Thank you.
Yes, and come on with these beautiful scripts, honey. So enough about these old screenwriters and the people who trying to juke y'all out of y'all money. Let's talk. Let's talk about.
Oh, nice.
You like it? Have you read it? It's by this guy called his name is Sidney Karger.
Good to me.
Yes. Honey, let me tell you something about Max, baby. We'll talk about that. I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna ask you about Max and
All
Mr.
right.
Max, and yes, I'm gonna ask you about that. So tell us a little bit about your debut novel, The Best Men. I love this cover. It is so like Sunset Boulevardish kind of.
Yeah.
With a little twist of Ocean 11. Like,
Ooh, nice. Yeah. What I can say, because I didn't design it, so it's like objectively amazing cover to me. I'm still in love with it. It's like right inside, by my bedside, and I'm kind of like, I walk by it and see it every day, and I'm like, that's pretty good.
you did pretty good. So who designed it?
It's the publishing house did it. Their creative team at Penguin, Berkeley Romance.
What?
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah. And no spoilers, but like, it takes place in New York, and then there's part of it in Fire Island. So the cover could be there are piers in New York and there are piers in Fire Island. So it can it's very subtle and great and clever.
It is. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, without giving spoilers and all that good stuff, tell us a little bit about Best Men.
Yeah, so Best Men, it's a romantic comedy. It's about a guy named Max Moody who's about to turn 35. He's a gay guy living in New York City, and he's also sort of a hopeless romantic, but won't admit it to himself. And one day, his best friend from childhood, who lives in New York with him, she tells him that she's getting married, and she wants him to be the sort of man of honor in her wedding party. And he kind of quietly spins out of control because he thought he would be the one getting married first in the friendship, and he's the romantic one, and she's sort of like a serial dater, kind of never really settled down. And then he meets yeah. And then he meets the best man of the groom. His name is Chasen, and then Max and Chasen are kind of complete polar opposites. Max is introverted, he's Midwestern. Chasen is very outgoing, social. He born and brought in the East Coast, very kind of waspy. They're just complete oil and water, and they hate each other. They really can't stand each other at first. They learn to sort of maybe tolerate each other, and then it's sort of a will they or won't they get together kind of romance. Maybe. Who knows?
No. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Now, what made you decide that you wanted to write this novel?
So I always kind of come up with characters first. I love getting sort of the psychology behind characters and how they think and what makes them tick and things like that. So I had the idea for Max, and I was kind of like, I wanted to tell a story that sort of happened to me, but not really, which is like my childhood best friend asked me to be the man of honor in her wedding party. And I said yes. But she had this sort of strict wedding planner who did not want to have one guy in the all-female wedding party.
Really?
Yeah. So I was demoted and I became like an usher, which I kind of don't even know what that means. I don't know really what I did.
Is that still your best friend?
I just got off the phone with her. Yes, she is.
I would have broke up with her. Because listen.
I know. Well, I forgave her, and it was, and it wasn't a big deal, sort of. Well, it was a big deal. Who am I kidding?
Yeah. You get demoted from being the best man. That's not good.
I know. But like later, she kind of was like, I was kind of wrapped up in the wedding, and she didn't really. She's the kind of girl who like everyone else cared about the wedding, and she was like, "Oh, you do what you want." So I kind of understood that, and she sort of let this wedding planner steamroll, and so I never got to become the best man in any wedding, or like in the man of honor of a woman's wedding party. So I had that idea for a character. I'm like, that's a good idea if he actually became the man of honor. Like, who is that character? Who's the best friend? And so it was like almost like a fantasy wish fulfillment story idea for me. And yeah, that's kind of where it came from. And then I was like, okay, it's a wedding. I'm going to lean into the romantic comedy of it all because I kind of love I grew up loving romantic comedy movies,
Right.
and it was sort of in my DNA, just sort of like the Nora Ephrons and Nancy Meyers, and
Okay.
way back, even John Hughes was a huge romantic comedy filmmaker with 16 Candles I grew up on. So I kind of was like, I love those movies, and then actually, like in the last 5 years, there's been sort of like a boom with romantic comedy books.
Yes, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm kind of like, oh, I was reading some and I'm like, oh, I didn't know you can actually do that now, because like new voices are being represented and we haven't really had, sort of diversity in romantic comedies the way we kind of see it the last few years. So I kind of put all that together and got to the book.
I love it. Like if my husband decides he don't like me no more, then when I get married again, you can be my best man.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. Just don't hire a wedding planner.
Oh no, I won't. But if I do, I'll be like, look, girl, this is my thing. And Sidney is going to put on his whatever he wants to wear and walk down this aisle.
I would
And
love
stand
that.
next to me and hold my bouquet. What?
Please, I would love that.
That would be so awesome.
That would.
Okay, now we gotta give a shout out to, let's see, the people checking in. Hey, Midnight Ace from Midnight Ace Book Bar. Hey, y'all. Hey, Renata. Hey, y'all. Mitzi, what's up, baby? Listen, if you guys have a question for Sidney, please just throw it in the chat. Let us know, and then we'll ask him. He's open. He's like, listen, whatever, however. I was like, ooh, I love it. Now, speaking of whatever, however, it brings us to the first segment here, the Brown Book series called "Who'd You Rather."
Oh, okay.
And so you only have one book, but when you have like a whole bunch of these, because I heard it was, two. When you then you got to come back and really, really, really play all the shenanigans, the shenanigans that we have going on here. Okay.
Love that. Yeah.
But right now, we're just gonna ask you one good little question. We want to know, who'd you rather, Max or Jason?
I love this.
Wait, when we say now this one night stand, we talking about hit it, quit it, leave a little money on the nightstand if you choose to, and that's it. No love, no nothing. You ain't gotta call me in the morning.
Wait, I leave him money? Okay.
No, he leave you money.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this is good.
I'm confused who's leaving who money.
Money.
I would immediately say Chasen. I'm ping-ponging back and forth thinking about the differences, and I feel like for a one night stand, which isn't totally my style, but I would say Chasen.
Chasen?
Yeah.
I would have gave it to Chasen too.
Yeah?
Yeah. Something about I would have gave it to Chasen. I would have gave it to Max too.
Yeah, I think Max is like you would marry.
Yes. Yeah. I'll marry him. But just like, let's go ahead and have it for one night. Chasen, he can get it.
Yeah, he would be more sort of present and,
definitely present.
He'd be the one.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. Let's see here. Now we got some couple of questions because, we have to get some serious stuff every now and then. Not too much, but just every now and then. Yeah. So you had this in your mind, this book in your mind, that's me, and then that's what you want to do. Like, I'm writing me a book. What made you decide, okay, you know what? Now is the time. Let me go now.
Good question. I sort of had always wanted to write a book when I was like 11 or 12. Do you remember these books called Choose Your Own Adventure?
I do.
Yeah, they were big a while. I think there's been a renaissance with them, and but they were big when I was a kid, and I worshipped them. And I wrote a Choose Your Own Adventure book when I was like 11 or 12, and it was like, it's a book where it's like a page, and then you read a chapter, and then at the end of the chapter, it's like, if you want the princess to go into the castle, turn to page 12. If you want the princess to slay the dragon, turn to page 4. So it's like a kid book, and I wrote one. It was like fan fiction, and I put it away, but I had this encouragement from friends and family, just sort of like, when are you going to write the next book? And all through the years, my mom especially was like, when are you writing a book? And specifically, when are you going to write my memoirs? Like, so it's sort of like implanted in my brain, and I wanted to become a writer any way possible. Like I mentioned John Hughes, I was obsessed with John Hughes growing up, and I knew that, as a writer, filmmaker, for him, he went into advertising as a copywriter. before he got into filmmaking. And I was like, okay, that's the path I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. And that's the stepping stone from advertising to filmmaking. And then I got caught up in a good way, became, like a working screenwriter. And in the back of my mind, I was like, I'm never going to have time to write a book because it takes forever. It seems it's long. And I'm going to be 75 by the time I get around to writing an actual book, and that's fine. I'll be in my third act on the porch, with a lemonade.
Loving it.
And so I sort of resigned to that. And then I had, I work with agents and managers, and my film manager was like, "Do you want to write a book?" And I had never really expressed it to him. And that's kind of the great thing about having these kind of reps, is like they pull the stuff out of you. And I was like, of course I do. And I was introduced to my now book agent, and I had through the years been writing, ideas and short stories and these characters. And I just kind of like put some stuff together, and I pitched him a couple things, and we landed on Best Men. And it was like the opportunity. I'm like, I interrupted sort of a bunch of pressing screenplay projects that I was working on. And I'm like, I have to take this opportunity, and just someone's listening, and I had to take it and not wait till I was 75.
Oh my God. So by the time you turn 75, you're going to be like on your, oh my God, 1,000th book.
Ooh, I hope so.
You are going to be here for all of it. Let's see here. We have questions in the chat. Midnight A said, what is the one element? What is the one element is it important for you to have in your book? So what's the one element that's important for you to have in your story?
That's a good question.
They get deep around here sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
A thinker.
Yeah. It's because it's your first time. When you come back the next time, you could be like, what the hell?
Yeah. I would say humor. I feel like even if I love things like, even in the biggest sort of, if I'm watching a really sort of dramatic adult movie, or, reading a thriller book that's like scary, high stakes, I want there to have that a little bit of humor kind of interrupting the drama or the thrills or whatever it is. I feel like, and then at the same time, if I'm reading something funny or if I'm watching something funny, I want to have a poignant emotional moment, because I feel like every story, no matter if it's a book, a movie, television show, podcast, whatever, like I want to have the roller coaster of, I want to laugh, I want to cry, I want to be fearful for something's going to happen. But humor is the best. And I love scenes that are kind of funny, then sad then funny. But I just, whenever I'm reading or watching something and it's completely dramatic, I'm like, it needed a joke or something there.
Yeah.
Like some kind of, even just like a clever little wink, whatever it is.
I love it. He said a wink. Yes, honey. Some of them need some winks, some God winks. You be like, what the hell was that? Missy says, if you could write a book from any location in the world, ooh, where would the location be and why?
It's funny. I love my office, my little office. And I've tried to write in cafes. And I was like, I romanticized the idea of like sitting in a coffee shop for hours and writing. And then as soon as someone like scrapes their chair or starts talking, I'm like, nope. I'm like, I can't have any distraction. But that said, give me the south of France, by a glistening swimming pool with the water, overlooking the water, a nice setting like that. I actually like writing outside. It's kind of nice if it's all you hear are birds, and like, so I need the quiet to write, but it give me like a paradisey kind of place, and I can go there.
I absolutely love it. Now, Sidney, you've written like for different networks, for different shows. So, and you got an award for Comedy Central. So you like writing comedy, like that's your thing.
Yeah, I've always, again, like since I was a kid, I had funny parents and siblings with great senses of humor. And I kind of grew up in a laughing, fun household. And I was obsessed with Saturday Night Live and Carol Burnett and all the greats and sitcoms. And
Me too. The Dean Martin roast. Oh, I look at them today. I love them.
it never fails. It never fails. I love it all. And so I kind of was like, how do I channel, comedy and writing? And I ended up going from advertising, and I'm like, what's the place? I was obsessed with Comedy Central. It had comedy in the name. And it was like, it was my default sort of, if you're flipping around the TV, I would always like, okay, what's on channel 45? Comedy Central was like stand up or great, South Park, The Daily Show.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting in there, which is like shocker. Like, it seems easy, but it's like, it was sort of not easy to finally get there. And then I was at Comedy Central and I wrote and directed promos for sort of all the shows and the talent, working with, all the talent there. And yeah, I had never won awards before and won a few awards. And then I was making short films, and a short film of mine got this HBO award, which was great.
Daddy.
Daddy. Oh my God.
Daddy. I saw Daddy.
You did?
Yes.
Wow.
But I tell you, I love, yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. I was like, wait, he the one who did Daddy. And so, yeah, I loved it.
Awesome. I mean, how did you even find that?
Because let me tell you something about me. From the time I was like 21, I host, I'm like what they call me, the Grand Duchess, the first lady of Extreme Entertainment. And Extreme Entertainment is one of the largest Black LGBTQ entertainment companies. Oh, and right. I host their Pride everywhere, from every country, every city. So we was the logo channel, everything. Noah's Ark, they're my boys. Like we was, yeah.
Wow.
So everything that had the rainbows, we was reading. We was
amazing.
That's cool. And so I was always on. So when this came up, I was like, are you serious?
It's funny. I feel like it was slightly ahead of its time, dare I say, because I've since then there's been a play, and I think there's a book, and even maybe a movie called Daddy. And it was at the time it was it was about a gay guy who magically becomes pregnant, and it's a comedy.
Yes, yeah.
But it would have the double entendre, and it was like the first sort of ever LGBTQ HBO short film. I don't know if they're even still doing it, but
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
are they still doing that? I don't know, because Ian Polk, the one who created Noah's Ark. Yeah, he was he was trying to do something for HBO. I don't know if he could do anything. I think he was trying, but everybody was over at Logo. It was like, yo, let's go.
Yeah, and then HBO, we went on a whole festival circuit, film festivals with Daddy, and the Noah's Ark guys were there, and all the sort of Dee Rees was her movie Pariah.
Yes. It is so crazy because my producer Ian was like, didn't you meet him before? I'm like, I don't ever remember meeting Sidney. He was like, Shay, you did. I was like, he wasn't with Carson and Jeff and all. And I'm like, I don't remember. He was like, I think you did.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to do some homework myself.
I know, yeah. Now we gotta do some homework for real. I absolutely love it.
Cool. That's amazing. Yeah, that was fun to do. And then so that's where the whole comedy thing. And then also when I was actually at Comedy Central for years, you do have to do your homework and watch every South Park and every, I was working on the Sarah Silverman show and all the greats, and so when I would come home, the last thing I wanted to do was watch comedy.
Yeah.
And I had to watch the most disturbing documentary, to kind of balance, and it was hard. And it was hard to work on my own comedic stuff too, because I was writing it all day for my 9-to-5 job. And then I'd have to come home and try to be funny on my own stuff. And it was tough.
It was tough. Oh, but hey, you got awards for it. You're great at it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you're good. And this book, if you guys have not picked up The Best Men, you gotta go get it. I love this though. This cover is everything to me.
It's joyous.
My nails a little bit.
Oh my God! Yeah, nice.
Nice. Absolutely.
It makes you happy, right?
Huh?
It makes you happy, sort of like the colors and the.
It does. It
Fun.
does. It does. It makes you happy. It looks good. I love that they're in tuxedo. Like the whole thing. That's why I was like, oh, give me that Ocean 11, Sunset Boulevard vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. What do you do to unwind? Renata wants to know.
When I unwind, I love music. Music is a big part of my life. So we'll put on, we have an old school stereo with a record player vinyl, and we like to collect vinyl here and there. And so I love to kind of like just put on a record, or if we don't have it, put on Sonos and like dance around our place, listen to music,
Wow.
and sing. I like to sing badly to songs. Yeah, that's super corny, right?
Hey, whatever rocks your boat.
Yeah.
We love it. Now, Sydney, author's moments. What's your most urgent priority for the rest of the year, both in the literary world and in your personal life?
My urgent priority would be book number 2. That sounds boring too, but
No, it sounds good because I'm gonna need that because I got questions.
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is coming rapidly because it's due basically in a couple weeks. And I wrote a first draft, and I'm in the middle of copy edits now. But I'm like, even if I write something today, I will look at it tomorrow and cringe.
Oh.
And so I handed in a draft a couple months ago, and I'm like, who wrote this? This is terrible. Like,
your ass wrote it.
yeah. So I have to go back and just redo the entire thing. And that is the most, like, I'll get off with you and kind of immediately go start kind of writing a little bit. It's late now, but I'll be thinking about it and writing a little bit before I go to bed. So yeah.
Okay. And in your personal life?
And what?
And in your personal life, most urgent priority for the rest of the year?
Well, then my personal life is take a vacation.
That makes sense. Where you want to go? To the south of France again?
I kind of want, my partner's French, so that's
oh, I bet he's fine too.
Would be fun to go there with him because he, speaks the language. But I don't know. We have to plan it. It's hard to write a book, do promotion for a book, and then also plan anything. So
I get it.
Yeah.
You'll be okay though. You'll get it. You're gonna get it done. All right. Author's moments. And being a novelist, what did you learn a little too late?
Well, probably there's a big romance community that I wasn't completely tapped into. A lot of the terminology and the wants and the not wants, and the audience's opinions about what they want.
They hell in romance landia, baby. Good grief. I'd be like, dude, where's the love?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I consider my book more romantic comedy. It's almost like a comedy romance in a way. But that was a learning experience, is just, sort of the tropes. And thankfully I also want a happy ending. So romance readers, I think, do too, which is good.
Right.
But that was super eye-opening and fascinating to kind of like be at the same time embraced by the community and also learning about, just, it's a huge audience. So it's cool.
Yeah, it is. I'd be like, Lord, I can't keep up sometimes. They'd be like, Shay, I'm sorry. I didn't know we changed the, I mean, they changed tropes like the LGBTQ and not letters. It's like, yo, every day it's like it's a different thing. We got a new letter over here and we got a new trope over here. I'm like, how does that? Something needs to coincide with each other. I don't know. It's just, we gotta get it together though.
Yeah, they need to send a memo every once in a while so we know.
Like, there needs to be like a corporate newsletter. Like seriously, from like the board or something. Like, this is what we're doing now. And I'd be like, okay, cool, because I don't.
You could start that.
You know what? We should. I think. Oh, you know what? That would be hot. We would just come up with our own rules, like new rules, like Bill Maher, and be like, these are the rules.
New rules.
Period.
Yeah.
Sidney, we gotta work on that.
I would subscribe.
Thank you. You gotta have to write the new. You can't write nothing for nobody else, so you might as well.
Yeah.
We gotta start us a newsletter on new rules. All right, author's moments. If you could have tea with the one fictional character of yours, who would it be and why?
Ooh. Well, I love God. One of my favorite. Well, there's like a classic, and then there's something I just read.
Okay.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
So a classic has always been with me since like high school is Catcher in the Rye, and Holden Caulfield. I'd be interested. It's probably problematic at this point. Maybe set him on the path of goodness would be my intent. And then now I actually just read a couple months ago a book called Stone Cold Fox, a debut author, and it's an anti-heroine character, and she's hilarious. She's sort of like this con woman who's on her last con. She wants to give it up, and so she sort of infiltrates the New York high society, the sort of 1% of the 1%. Wow. And she has this amazing history with her mom, who is a woman, but the writing, it's told in the first person, and it's juicy, sort of delicious. Like, she's just screamingly funny, but sort of a little evil. And
I love it. Is it a romance? I mean, does it have a happy ending or?
No. It's a thriller.
Oh.
I don't want to give it away. I may or may not have a happy ending, but it's a thriller.
Okay, let's not give it away, because the one thing about the romance world, they'd be like, "Oh, let me go see what Sidney's talking about," and then you'd be like, "Oh, it was great." They'd be like, "No, it wasn't. Everybody died." You'd be like, "Okay, he just
thriller." But romance, I am also in the middle of Happy Place by Emily Henry, and the main character of that is very like, I need to be best friends with her, and so. That's a good book if you haven't checked it out.
All right, cool. Let me check this out. Author's moment, Sidney. If you could sit down with your 15-year-old self, what would you tell her? Well, it's supposed to be him, but we have a lot of girls on here, so
yeah. I would say you're not a girl. No.
Not today, anyway.
I would say relax. Like, calm down. You've got this. I'm still a nervous inner 15-year-old, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. But I was always sort of a reserved, quiet, shy, nervous kid, and had You can't tell?
No.
Oh, good. It was sort of like I wasn't sort of diagnosed back then, but I probably had, anxiety and like social awkwardness situations, things like that. And I would be like, relax. It's not a big deal. There's always a tomorrow. I'd freak out about the next, if I had to give like an oral history report in junior high, middle school, I would freak out. Like, I couldn't, paralyzed, fear, stage fright and everything.
Oh, wow.
So, I would be like, just relax, have a beta blocker or something to calm your nerves, whatever it is.
Right. That's what we'll call it, the beta blocker. I absolutely love it. All right. Author's moments. What would your pen name be?
Oh my, that's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go with Chester Grange.
What? Not Chester, the child molester. Come on.
That was my first dog's name.
Chester Grange?
Chester was, and then a street I lived on was called Grange, so Chester Grange. Isn't that?
Do not look like a Chester Grange.
But I actually have most of my entire family and childhood friends call me Sidney, and my sort of adult friends call me Sid, and I'm kind of like, should I have gone with Sid Karger instead of? So that's kind of like maybe a lame pen name.
But it's cool. It fits you. So we got to get you a pen name. It has to be something else, something more like sexy, something like I don't know.
Chester's not sexy.
No.
What
Have
would
you ever
you?
met anybody named Chester that was sexy? Ever?
What would yours be?
I don't know. One author, wonderful legend that we know, her name is Deborah Fletcher Mello. She said that her pen name and her stripper name would be the same. So I think
Right. Well, isn't yours like your stripper name that your first street and or maybe you know what? That's your soap opera name. I did your soap opera name.
with Oprah or something like that.
Yeah.
So I
Your
don't know
first
what
pet.
my name would be. Maybe something sexy. But I would want like a unisex name though. Something like I don't know, like I don't know, something unisex though.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like Channing. Is that a sexy name? I don't know.
Shining.
Thinking of Channing Tatum for some reason.
Oh, that's cute. He's sexy.
Like
Yeah.
Channing Everwood. I don't know.
Or something. Yeah. We're gonna come up. Listen, you guys, we'll come up with a cute pen name for Sidney.
I keep going in the soap opera area.
Yeah, because Erica Kane would be listen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who's a sexy? I'm wondering. Like, I'm trying to think of an actual sexy pen name of someone who exists. Is Danielle Steele? That's
well, then it's different. Danielle Steele, you know.
yeah. I don't know if that's her real name, but
I don't know if that's her real name either. We need something. Yeah. So now you got me thinking.
I'm gonna be thinking about that one.
You know what though? I interviewed a girl. Her name was Amelia Wild.
Okay.
And yeah, and so her email is like awildromance.com. I was like, that's cute.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, something like that. And someone else's name is like, I think the last name is Fox or something. I don't do the foxes and the stars, but gotta be something, catchy.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna have to. That's a homework assignment.
Yeah, it's a homework assignment. We're gonna come up with something. Something for you and for me. So we're gonna come up with something cute, something real. I think whatever I go with the first name, I think the last name I wanted to be like Chandler or something. Because I loved Adam Chandler on All My Children.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I loved him and Victor Newman. They was like my absolutely. Oh, loved them.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna come up with that. You guys, y'all help us out. Let us know, what's a good pen name for us. It's gonna be cute. All right, author's moments. Let's see here. What is something you try really hard to like but just couldn't?
Ooh. Can it be anything?
Anything.
There's this. Okay. Well, this is gonna be polarizing.
It's okay. That's what we do over here.
And I don't hate it, but I don't love it the way everyone loves lobster.
You know what? I can see that. I only like the tail. I can't do the rest of it. The whole body, I can't do it.
I did a whole thing with the dinner. You know what it was? My next door neighbor growing up had their stepdad every couple months would make boil live lobsters. And I would go over there and it was just the smell, and he was a little mean, and I think it's a sense memory thing. And so like later in life, I had a lobster dinner where we're all cracking and throwing the shells. And I'm like, this is not for me.
Yeah, I can't. I'm with you on that.
And I love seafood, but I also don't like, unless you're slathering it in butter, like in a lobster roll with mayonnaise, that's okay. But like, yeah. It's sort of.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, I can only do the tail. I had the whole thing one time. I was like, no.
It's too much of a living. Yeah. And then like seeing it in an aquarium, and you're like, I'll have that one. I'm like,
yes, that's just like picking a chicken and then wring the neck right in front of you.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I don't want that one no more. I'm good. Yeah, my husband brought me. I love seafood. It's like love seafood. So I'm like, okay, bring me, a piece of fish. He brought it with the head on it. I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. And they're like, well, we can cut the head off. I've seen it. I'm straight.
Yeah, exactly. Once you see the eyes and
and people be eating like, ugh.
Yeah. No. It's funny. I recently, like within the last 6 months, I'm like, I've been very decisive about the lobster thing. I'm like, nope, I've tried a million times. I can't.
I tried it,
Yeah.
and I'm not. I'm sorry, I just can't. So it is what it is. I'm like that too.
But I love that other people love it. So
Oh yeah, even like with crawfish, I'm like, how would you suck in the? Eh.
yeah, and
Yeah,
like soft shell crab. Yeah.
yeah, I can't. Now give me some crab legs
Okay. Yeah.
and I'm good. I'm like, okay, give me a little crab legs.
Or
I
you
can do it.
or like crab, like little sushi with crab inside that you
I'm
can't.
like the California rolls.
There you go.
Yes, yeah, yeah. All that, I'm good with all
Yeah.
that. But yeah, you can keep your lobster. You can just give me his tail. I'm good.
Yes.
All right, let's see here. Oh, Sydney, dead or alive?
Oh.
If you were hosting a dinner party and could invite 5 people from any era, who would it be? Dead or alive?
Any era, dead or alive. Okay. I would say Andy Warhol comes to mind.
Okay.
Um, he'd probably be not the greatest conversationalist, but I just want to pick his brain on the gossip of his era and like the thing. Well, I feel like at this point, we've read and seen or I have like I read the Andy Warhol diaries and all the documentaries, but I want to know like straight from him what the deal was.
Yeah, what's really happening? Yeah.
Um, who actually recently passed away that I regretted I never was able to meet was Stephen Sondheim, the composer, lyricist,
Yeah.
Broadway. I like later in life discovered him sort of as an adult, like Into the Woods and all of his great plays. So I'd love to sit down with him and pick his brain. Oh my God, 5?
Yeah, you got 3 more. You're doing great. You got 3 more.
Who are people? Um,
Dead or alive?
Oh, Gilda Radner from Saturday Night Live in the 70s. She was the first
Female, yes.
female comic, comedian, sketch.
She was the one with the big hair, like
Yes.
the dark. Okay.
Yeah, she did the news, Rosanna Dana.
Yes, okay.
My mom worshipped her. And she was married to Gene Wilder, who was, the Willy Wonka guy.
Yes, I love him.
She would be fun. She died. I think she died pretty young.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. Who else?
2 more.
Okay, she's alive, thank God. Joni Mitchell, musician. She's a singer, songwriter.
I didn't know.
She's she's like, she also was part of like this. I love these people who are part of like, actually all of them, like Gilda Radner, Warhol, Joni Mitchell. They all had their like creative communities.
Yeah, got you. Yeah.
Joni had the Laurel Canyon in California with like all the greats of the music, 70s, like Crosby, Stills and Nash and
Wow.
Neil Young. And she was in that whole world. I would love to talk with her about that. That would be super cool.
Okay. Last one. See, it wasn't that bad.
I would say I'm going to keep it in the creative world. Oh, I have one more.
Mm-hmm.
Who's someone you give me? Who's one of yours? And I can like.
In the creative world?
Just anybody. Who would you?
Who I would just want to sit down and just talk to.
Yeah.
Who would I just want to sit down and talk to? Princess Diana. I wanted to talk to her. Yeah. If I could have talked to her, I've been like, oh, man.
That's good. This is not Princess Diana related, but it just triggered a woman writer, Emily Dickinson.
Oh, yes.
Like a totally different era. So she was ahead of her time. She was like a pioneer of writing and, being a woman and against all odds kind of thing. And Someone from that era would be amazing. It's just like hear them speak.
I love it. I'm with you.
I think I should have. Maybe I should do more homework on those. I
No,
probably
you
10 different answers.
you're doing great. I'm telling you, because when you come back, we'll ask you for a different 5. So you can be like, okay, I know who I want to eat with. And sometimes it's hard. You be like, I don't want to eat with these people.
I know. Maybe I should pick a chef, like who.
You know, wait. Speaking of chef, then we'll go to the next question. What was his name? Oh my God. Was it Justin Wilson? He was an older guy. He had red suspenders. Oh my God.
He was a chef?
He's a chef. When I was little, like we used to see him. He was the first chef I saw on television.
Oh wow.
Yes, he was real older. I think it was Justin Wilson.
Justin Wilson. I have to
Yeah.
look him up.
You got to look him up. Yeah, real old man. We don't, he was a segregationist. So my parents were like, you can't watch him. I'm like, but he can cook. It'd be all right though. But yeah, like I don't care. I still was like, he the one who taught me how to make the elbow macaroni and cheese.
Oh, yum. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was, yeah. Like,
yeah, I mean, if you're gonna pick 5 people to have dinner with, it should all be various chefs from different eras. That would be fun.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. So Midnight, you said you had some impressive guests. Yeah, his little dinner table gonna be hot.
Someone just said that?
Huh? Someone
just said that?
Yeah, they said you had an impressive. You had some impressive guests.
All right.
That's cool. He's like, what? They are impressive.
Before.
All right, Sidney. We are at the end of our interview.
No.
We have one question left. You have been such an amazing guest. I really appreciate you for coming on here. You are awesome.
I was just getting into it.
I know. We're going to come back again. That's what most guys tell me, just the foreplay. And then, then I get my money and I got to go. I just playing. So
that should have been on my list. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. So before we ask our last question, please let everybody know all things Sidney Karger. Where can they go to get your debut novel, The Best Man, all your social media handles, website, and everything?
Yeah, so I mean, my main one now is Instagram, which I'm loving. My handle is at SidKNY, or you can just search my name, Sidney Karger or Sid Karger. Twitter, I'm not that much on. I'm kind of on. I used to be on more, but that's at Sid Karger. And then Facebook-ish, and what else? My website is sydneykarger.com.
Absolutely love it. We absolutely love it.
Sidkarger.com.
Yeah, Sidkarger.com. Mm-hmm. He's everywhere, y'all. You can just Google him, and look him up. All right, love it. Sidney, last question.
Oh.
If you were writing a book about your life, what would the title be?
Ooh, oh my. Let me think about this for a second. A title of my life. Does it have to be good?
No, it's your life.
I'd kind of want, I'd have to think about it because I'd want to do like something clever and maybe like a bad pun. But just something I'm learning over like the last couple years, which, oh my God, this is so cheesy. Let me think. You know what? I would say I'm trying to be sort of like more present. And so I would say the present. I would call it the present. And so it has a bit of a pun where it's like, this is a gift, but it's also about learning to stay in the present time, present and sort of being present, showing up, saying yes to things. And that's super cheesy.
Look at you, Ben. I love it. It makes sense. Look at you. Go, Sidney.
Again, I'm going to do my homework on that one. I'll come up with a list.
Yeah, we'll go over the list and then we'll do it all over again.
Top 3, yeah.
Top 3. I absolutely love it. Ladies and gentlemen, please, 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 please give a round of applause. A very thank you and all that good stuff. Very good thank you to award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and director, Mr. Sidney Karger. Sidney, you're awesome. Eyebrow bookers, you guys know what's up. Sidney, hold tight for me real quick. Next week, you know, hey, it's Pride Month, and it's also Juneteenth. So we have the ladies of Juneteenth that's going to be here on next week. It's like 11 of them, y'all. Y'all just go to the website and get all the books, read up on all the authors. They'll all be here, just to name a few. Iris Green, Sharon C. Cooper, Sherelle Green. Oh my God, Iris Boland. It's a lot of them. I'm like, how y'all got together? They was holding hands singing "We Shall Overcome" and wrote a book. It's awesome. So they're gonna be here on next week, and after that, Casey Mills. It's gonna be awesome. And then after Sidney write his second book, he's gonna come back, and we're gonna be following him anyway because we need to know like what's going on with his writer strike. Did he get his job back? What is he doing? So make sure you guys are following all things Brown Book Series, and we will see you on next week. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Hold tight for me, Sidney.